Hello there. Welcome to the Force Collective. We are back. We are back after skipping a week. We are officially back. Anyways, how's everybody?
Good.
Great.
Wonderful. I'm glad
Obi-Wan
Sir anyway
Kenobi is
decided.
making me an alcoholic.
Okay. Look, I really wasn't expecting you to say anything because you didn't say a thing, and I was about to be like, "Yeah, Sir anyway, he's doing great." He didn't say anything, but now we know how he truly feels. Anyways, we're
Well, that doesn't mean he's not okay. I mean, maybe if he's flying high in alcohol, he's feeling fine.
well,
No. See, I was flying high on alcohol last night.
Oh, I see.
Now is the morning.
and you're regretting it. Okay, I see.
No,
Yep.
but
No.
I'm just not flying high. That's all.
Well, it's not morning here, so you're in the future.
I know.
You're in the future. So technically, if I went there right now, if I was there right now, you'd be sick right now, very much. We're talking to the future you right now.
I don't think that works.
You don't think that works? Dang it. Do we just time skip as soon as we get into Australia? Is there
Yeah,
like
pretty
some-
much.
Really? Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Well, if that wasn't the case, I would have went there and warned you, don't watch it if it's going to make you an alcoholic. And then, things would change in the stream and you'd be like, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, but then I would have nothing to say on the stream.
But you would be happy. So it's one of those tricky situations where you gotta pick what you want.
Yeah.
Well-
but you're forgetting one thing.
What?
I'm happy because I'm with you guys.
Oh,
Oh,
we're happy you're here with us too, Sir AOA. We're very happy. Even if my
I just
opinion
would prefer it a few hours into the future.
I wish that were possible. Anyways, we're not going to pull the same mistake that we did with the last stream and just talk about one episode for the entire stream. So we're going to starting at like exactly right now. Okay, 1 hour for each episode. All right, we got
444. Woo.
Shut it. We're not doing
Exactly. That he's right.
Yeah, episode 3 and 4 isn't going to be in an hour.
Okay. Well, anyways, since, we gotta get started. Okay, I already started the timer. We're 25 seconds in. Anyways, so since Chrono's next to me, I'll go last, of course, because you want to save the best opinion for last. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, Chrono, what did you think of episode 3? What did you like? What did you dislike? Explain whatever it is you feel like explaining about this third episode that we failed to discuss last week.
Okay.
Hang on.
Yeah.
You said episode 3. Are we doing episode 3 or doing episode 2?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot we also missed episode 2. Well, let's do a quick recap of episode 2 then.
You only said this like 5 minutes ago.
Shut it. Look, I'm tired today. Leave me alone. No, I'm dead serious. Like, I've been like exhausted all day and I don't know why. But that's besides the point. My brain is not functioning. We're going to talk about episode 2. All right? Yeah, I totally didn't say episode 3 at first. We're going to talk about episode 2. We'll make it a short discussion. We're not going to talk fully, I guess, like in depth, I guess, like we would have if the stream was all about episode 2. So just tell me what you like and dislike about episode 2. Maybe something that you would change. I don't know. Just give me something. So we'll start with you, Chrono. Go ahead.
Okay, about episode 2, I think episode 2 was not that bad, but it was full of small details that made it not work. I mean, the whole thing. If we go past accepting the premise that Leia is involved in this, and we're going to look at it like, okay, she's part of the plot. We will deal with it. Even if we do that and we accept that they go to this other planet trying to look for her and whatever, I don't really like what happens at Dayu. I mean, the first part where he's looking for her and he ends up in this lab and he goes to these people. I mean, he enters the lab like, are the people there not paying attention? He's clearly standing out. But okay, he gets in. How the hell does he know where to find the girl? I mean, they're expecting him and they want him to get into this room. And okay, he manages to beat them, to find Leia and escape. But that fight, the fight with these guys was so ridiculous. The fact that he can't throw a punch. And this all comes back from that time we discussed the first episode. I am not buying, I will never buy this whole thing that he's out of shape, that he hasn't done anything in these 10 years. I'm not buying that. And the show tries really hard, at least at this point, to sell you that he can't fight. He can barely defend himself. And we go back to the other point in episode 1. He says he wants to train Luke. Well, how are you going to do that?
If you're
you
so
can't-
far out of shape.
Yeah, I mean, you can't throw a punch to save your life. How do you intend to train a young person into the Jedi ways? It makes no sense. I mean, if you want to stick with that, at least make it consistent, because it's one or the other. He can or he can't. And we will get more into this as episode 3 and 4 progress. But as for right now, I don't like to see this much inconsistency with him. Like, sometimes he's able to do things and sometimes he isn't. We have him later in this episode shooting at the guys in the roof, and he misses every shot. So I'm like, yeah, how bad do you have to be to not be able to hit anything?
And actually, that kind of makes something in episode 3 even stand out as crap.
Yeah, and
But I won't say what. But
yeah, we will get into that in episode 3. But okay, so this all happens, and then we go back to when he's trying to find this lab. He goes and meets with this Jedi, the fake Jedi, and the whole fake Jedi thing is so stupid. It's incredibly stupid. I enjoy the character, and I find it funny the way they make fun of someone trying to scam people out of being a Jedi. Okay, I won't say I didn't enjoy it, but it makes no sense. You're going to disguise yourself as the most wanted people in the galaxy. I mean, do you have a death wish? Because that's what's going to happen. I mean, eventually this kid in the streets who is recommending everyone to go to this Jedi, he's going to tell that to someone who is going to sell you out to the Inquisitors, and they're going to go and kill you. So I don't see how it's a smart decision to pose as a Jedi when Jedi are being hunted. And then we get to the end of the episode where a lot of stuff happens, messy stuff. We have Reva. Reva having this. It's a brilliant idea when she pulls the John Wick scene with every bounty hunter suddenly turning their eyes to Obi-Wan. Yeah, that's great. But then she proceeds to stand, and people mock her for this, and they're right. She stands in the ledge of a building like Batman, watching to see if she spots any conflict. And she waits until it happens. I mean, let's say Obi-Wan never makes it to the roof, and he's still in the alleys fighting people and trying to get to the port. She would never see that. She saw it because it was on the rooftops. But what if he never made it to the rooftop? What if Leia doesn't run? So her plan makes no sense because
happen.
Yeah, the plot would happen. And also we have this chasing. I mean, we talked about this in the first episode. The chasing with Leia was terrible, and we see this happen again in the same fashion. Leia runs past Obi-Wan at arm's length, and he can't catch her. I mean, I will buy that she maybe was too fast for him or was going some other route or whatever, but she was right there. If you want to convince me that this man cannot catch her, don't make her run towards him. That's stupid. And then we get to the last part with the last two issues. First,
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking about the chase scene, and then I also thought about the elephant in the room.
yeah. Then we get to the last part in the automated
one?
court.
This one, whatever he's about to say, that I know what he's about to say.
Yeah.
You've got a bloody
You get-
herd of elephants.
Well, this is the
Yeah,
biggest.
we get to this part where two very wrong things happen. First of all, Reva tells him about Vader, and I understand that. Actually, this is something that most of the YouTubers who are trashing the show are getting wrong, and they have not apologized about it. And
Mhm.
they are saying that he was shocked because she told him Vader was Anakin, and that is not true. The show never states that. What we, I mean, at least what I am criticizing is the fact that I don't buy that he didn't know he was alive. But the show never made a point that Obi-Wan didn't know Vader was Anakin. He did. And the scene in episode 3 confirms it. So I don't think that was a mistake. But the fact that he didn't know he was alive, I think that was a mistake. Because it's been 10 years. How can you not know Darth Vader is alive in 10 years? Especially since you are hiding from Inquisitors. Everybody knows Inquisitors report to him. So how can you not know their boss is alive?
And also, how can you not put two and two together?
Yeah.
Sorry, what I'm sort of getting at is that if you're Obi-Wan and you're sitting there on Tatooine and you hear about this Vader dude going around with Inquisitors and he's the right-hand man of the Emperor, how can you not sit there and go, crap, that's probably
Yeah.
Anakin.
Yeah, and of course there's this other part where Reva stabs the Grand Inquisitor, and
That one, yes.
I mean, yeah, we have heard from the directors and from the people running the show that he's not dead, and they would not. They said they would not alter the canon. I mean, we are not buying that. They have already messed with the canon.
They're not altering the canon.
Yeah, no,
I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any
yeah,
further.
absolutely.
That's
And
literally what they're doing.
I mean, okay, let's say let's say I agree with your premise that you want the Grand Inquisitor out of the way to make it all about Riven. Okay, even if you want to do that, you don't do it that way, because if you were going for a gotcha moment, like, oh, we killed him, but no, he's not alive, he's not really dead. This has been overused in Star Wars, and no one buys it anymore. This is like that stupid scene where they try to sell you that they killed Chewie. We knew he wasn't dead. No one ever thought for a second that he was dead.
Because no one would think that Disney would do something that stupid.
Yeah, we're learning that they might. With this show, we're learning that they might. So yeah, I really have a problem with that, because I mean, you're disrespecting a character people like. I mean, I don't have an issue with Reva. You want to be part of the show, okay, make her a part of the show, but you don't need to bring down other characters to make her look good. And the Grand Inquisitor he's not the Grand Inquisitor just because Vader suddenly gave her a pat on the back and said, it's going to be you. No, he had to earn that position. So I really don't think that kind of guy, and especially since they made a point to show that he doesn't like her and he doesn't trust her, how can you catch him out off guard? That would not happen.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally believe that he would steal the credit.
Because you're forgetting one thing. Reva's the Dark Mary Sue.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sorry, there can only be one.
There can
More
only be
or
one.
less. Commander Tano. Anyways, she can confirm.
Yeah. No, I really want to hear about this whole Reva thing from her, because she is the titular Mary Sue. So
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to her eventually.
So yeah, I think that's all there is to say about episode 2. I mean, it's not terrible, but it has so many small details that really you can tell that they don't care about a lot of stuff, and that to me is a really big problem, because it makes me not want to support them. It's like you're trying to sell me this product, and you're being too shamelessly honest about the product not being good, and you still expect me to smile and pay for it. And it's like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So
Well,
yeah, that would be my thoughts on episode 2.
Oh, okay. All right then. I guess we'll move on to Commander Tano. Go ahead, Commander Tano.
Oh my.
You acted like you had a lot to say last time about episode 2, so.
You know, I don't know if I have as much to say anymore, and maybe I should save it for the next 2. But so yeah, briefly, things I liked. I felt that the setting, I liked the setting for that episode. Like it felt, it felt very world buildy. Like I really didn't have a lot to complain about with that episode. It'd be more kind of like nitpicky things about how I, would tighten up the dialogue a bit. But one thing, it was interesting when you're talking about kind of, because there were plenty of moments where, it was like, wow, like Kenobi's getting beat up, and it reminded me of in the past when my dad and I would watch episodes of the Clone Wars, and I can't remember which ones, but this happened on multiple occasions where my dad would observe, like, there was this uncharacteristic thing. It's like, well, like why is Kenobi getting his rear handed to him? Like, why is that happening? And so with all of that happening in episode 2 of Kenobi, I didn't so much have an issue with it either way. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's fine. I kind of saw it in the tradition of that, where Kenobi intermittently is like crazy powerful, but then at other times he just is easily it's just confusing. So it's like I'm okay with stuff like that, but I understand at the same time why people would not be okay with that.
By the way, like, was that like, I think it's season 5 when Obi-Wan gets beat up by that slaver dude? Is that what you're talking about? Because that was hand-to-hand combat, not lightsaber. So I would assume
that may have been one of them. There were multiple occasions. Once again, it's been such a long time, and I need to maybe go back and find what those episodes were. My memory is really rusty on that, and it's more of like I kind of remember my dad's observation about that, and I just how he kind of said it. I thought it was funny, and I was like, it's And he hasn't seen this series, but he would probably say the same thing about this. And it's just like, it's like kind of just an oddity that I almost kind of consider part of just the Kenobi tradition with that character. but I can understand at the same time why people wouldn't like that. I do think, like, it's like in my head, like, I can insert some background for why Kenobi doesn't seem to be as powered up, as it were, whether it's hand-to-hand combat or force abilities. Like, I can kind of in my head be like, okay, yeah, I could see that maybe he's kind of decided to try and shut himself off, turn off the force faucet so that he doesn't like draw attention to himself.
Great metaphor.
If he's like, say, worried that someone would sense him if he, even contemplates using the force, I could see that. But the problem is, it's like the only reason that I can see that is it's like I'm the kind of person who thinks more about those things, whereas I feel like I feel like the show should have done more to set that up if that was what they were doing, to kind of, I don't know how, but just to kind of establish that, to communicate somehow to the audience, hey, like, this guy is like, and that's the weird thing, is like, kind of at the very beginning of the series, you get kind of those little flashback bits from the prequel movies, like when Anakin's saying how he's, as powerful as Mace Windu and wise as Master Yoda, that stuff. It's like that's good, but it's like you need some kind of setup to kind of just communicate more to the audience, like, okay, what it appears to be this guy is doing is he's turned off the force faucet. He's like, whatever it is, it should kind of make, just to explain some of the other stuff that you see, like why he kind of seems to be having a hard time otherwise. What else was I gonna say? So yeah, there's that. So that's one of those things where it's like, it's like I understand what they might have been trying to do. And once again, I don't know. I can't get inside people's heads who are making these decisions, but I do understand why, for an audience member, that would be, wouldn't like that. I'm trying to think what else about this episode. Yeah, it's weird because it's like I'm looking now like a couple episodes back, and so it's like, I guess I'll say this more in general. It's like I'm going to say this for all 3 episodes. I feel like six episodes is not enough for what they appear to be trying to do. There's just
6 episodes too long for what they're trying to do.
Well, my point is,
they just wasted one episode.
But the point is, if you're trying to communicate certain things in a story, like how this guy's kind of shut himself off from the force, at least that appears that way, I feel like you need to take more story time to do that. I also think if I were doing a Kenobi series, and I get some people are like, no, he should never have interact with Leia at all. He should never leave Tatooine. He should never. I accept that's one valid interpretation of that. I'm open to the interacting with Leia. I'm open to the getting off Tatooine. But I would say is that if you're going to do that, you can't make I wouldn't make the whole series about that. I would make it a much longer series where more of the time is spent on Tatooine, and this is like kind of a little incident that, and that kind of thing. The other thing where it's like I want more.
You really want more?
Did you really want more? I gave you more.
I want more Vader.
Yes, I agree.
Because the very beginning, once again, I like that they tried to loop in the little clip. I like that they tried to loop in clips from the prequels to just kind of set up this relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan. But it's like, if you're going to set us up for that, I want to see more Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I want to see more Obi-Wan. You know, I want to see more of them in the context of, you know, them thinking about, communicating about, dealing with their relationship with each other. Because that's, I think, what got a lot of people interested in this series in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, it's not that it's like I don't like, you know, some of these other things, but it's like, I think the whole, if I were writing this, I would make more of the point of that. There'd be much more Vader in that. There to be much more kind of focus on that relationship. But yeah, that's kind of more of a general thing. But yeah, that's kind of the thing. I think I'm okay with kind of the whole go get Leia thing. I just think it should have I would have ended it basically with episode 2 and have episode 3, you know, he returns Leia and then off to the next thing, whatever that is, you know. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Okay. I know I may regret this, but Surrey away. Surrey away. What did you think about this episode?
What I liked about the episode, the fake Jedi. What didn't I like about the episode? Everything else.
Yeah, I understand that feeling.
Where do you start? I'm
Maybe
actually going to make this really brief.
Okay, I can't believe that. That's odd.
Mainly because a lot of the stuff that I would be saying about episode 2 fits better for 3 and 4.
Okay.
But one thing that I would definitely have to say about episode 2 was that Kenobi being the only person flying to that planet was dumb. I mean, Bail Organa has an entire bloody planet and there's not one person he can trust. There's not one person that he could just ring up and sort of go, hey, I need to send you with this guy to this planet to rescue somebody.
I get that.
There is more I can say about that, but like I said, will fit better in 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, the thing is that even though I completely and utterly disagree with Obi-Wan rescuing Leia, yet again, more can be said in 3 and 4, which will make a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to do this, it should have been get Leia to this other person that will fly them away to Alderaan, and you know, you have him be left behind to deal with Dark Sue. And yeah, let's really talk about that elephant. Absolute utter crap that the Grand Inquisitor gets taken out by a gut shot from the front. Yeah. It is so ridiculous that it's actually really sort of hard to put into words just how utter crap that is.
You know what's
Um,
really sad? I literally forgot that all of that happened.
I
I forgot, and that's I can talk about this more later about my like general state of apathy, but that's probably a big problem that I forgot.
oh yeah.
was wondering why you didn't mention that.
But it and I mean the thing is that and this is kind of a theme throughout the episodes, is that if you're a legacy character, yeah, you're gonna get screwed over. And it's going to make the other Star Wars properties that you're in look worse. Leia included. But yet again, episode 3 and 4. But I mean, you know, there about the only other thing I can say about episode 2 is just how forgettable it is. It's really sort of yet again, it's a mistake just having a solo Kenobi go to the planet. And yeah, no, that's about it. If I say anything more, frankly, I'll just be rolling into the episode 3 and 4 discussion.
Well, lucky for you, we're almost to that point. It'll be my turn next, and then we'll go straight to that. So, whenever you're done, though.
Excellent. The fun will begin now.
Okay.
Actually, it should have been then, but oh well.
Yeah, you put the wrong word in there. Anyway, if that's all you, if that's all you got, it's my turn.
No, it's not all I've got. It's just, but
it's all you got for episode 2 right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's all you got. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I could probably spend the next 2 hours, but no,
let's not. We got
the discussion. The discussion will make more sense in 3 and 4 than it will in episode 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Well then, in order to hurry ourselves toward that, I'll go ahead and give my opinion of episode 2. I thought it was pretty good for the most part. I did have a few issues that you know I would hope they explain at some point. 2 of them being how she knew who Anakin was, which I have a theory on that.
And Darth Vader, your hope is misplaced.
She read the plot.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
she read the script.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing.
She Mary sued her Mary sued the script into her hands and just read it.
Yeah, she might also leaked it. I don't know if the leaks have been accurate or not, so I haven't been paying attention. But
so far
they have. Okay. Well, anyways, back to my opinion. So, I did have a few issues with the episode, but you know I liked a few of the things too, and I will slightly defend the Leia chase scene. Yes, not great, but it makes a little more sense. She's able to go through like all these little things that Obi-Wan couldn't just normally crawl under. Most of it actually made sense. There was times when it looks like he could have got her when he didn't. I do understand that, but it was a much better chase scene than the first one. So I got to give it that much.
That reminds me.
What reminds you?
That reminds me. It just clicked. Why the hell did she run? She's meant to be this super smart, know-it-all, highly perceptive, and all this other type of situation. And
do you want her to be Mary Sue?
no, I just wanted her
You
to
want her
be
to be a Mary Sue?
consistent.
Look,
I mean, the thing is that she's already, sort of dressed down her cousin and then dressed down Flea, and but all of a sudden, oh, now she's a 10-year-old, and oh, now she's got to run.
well, the only way
Yet again,
Mhm.
she read the script and she knew she needed to run, so she had to run.
Well, the way I saw it is that, when she said that they're, or when she realized that they're after her because of him, she decides, like, in her childish mind, to run away from him because, like, maybe
that's
that
the
will
problem.
keep her from being chased anymore.
But I mean, that's the problem. She's either a child or she's ahead of your years type of situation. And according to the story, she's ahead of her years. So why
She's
does
ahead
she
on everything now?
Oh yeah, there are theories that people defending this are saying that she's so good at some of this stuff because she's been using the Force the whole time, and I'm like, are you stupid?
Now that I don't agree with.
But there are a lot of people saying that. I mean, it's not like one or
the
two.
whole time.
Yeah,
That's a dumb argument.
And the thing is that if she has been using the Force the entire time, yeah, well, it looks like somebody's going to be taken away from Bail Organa.
yeah.
Yeah, that first of all, yes. Second of all, the Inquisitors would have sensed that. That
Exactly.
already just breaks the argument. So whoever's saying that, you're stupid. I'm just kidding, but not really. You don't know how the Force works, apparently. Okay, I'm trying not to be mean, okay, but seriously, like that's a bad argument.
No, be mean. They need a goddamn wake up call. I seriously. Let's get to 3 and 4 because damn.
Look, if I could finish, we'll get to episodes 3 and 4, and maybe we'll just like do them both together, because we've already spent almost an hour on episode 2, and I said an hour for each episode, and we're not going 4 hours.
4. Woo.
No.
No, we
Maybe
missed
someday.
the 4 for 4.
Yeah, maybe someday, but not now. Anyways, so the as far as my nitpicks go, I'll go ahead and say I'm sure everybody else feels the same way. I already mentioned one of them, how Reva knew who Anakin was, though I have a small theory on that, and I mean they haven't explained it yet, so whether it's true or not, I don't know. She may have witnessed Anakin killing Jedi in the temple. She may have known who Anakin Skywalker was. I mean, Anakin was a well-known Jedi, a well-known general in the Clone Wars. It's not impossible. So if she is like trying to escape the temple and notices that there is a Jedi fighting other Jedi and she recognizes him, that makes sense. How she knows he's alive, though, does not make sense. Because, if she knows he's alive, that also implies that she knows that he's Vader. Because, I mean, even though she don't say it, how would she know he's alive? Because, I mean, no, even further,
She read the
why
script.
is she? Well, I'm talking about from a story perspective, not from she did that kind of thing before she acted out the role perspective.
From a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view, yes. Like from a story perspective, why does she mention that to Obi-Wan? So how does she know that she needs to tell him that he's alive? That's another thing. So that's the first issue I have. And like I said, I have like that small theory of how she knows who he is and all that stuff. the other one that still raises a couple of questions though. The next thing is, of course, like I said, the elephant in the room, the dead, not so dead Inquisitor dude. I mean, I don't even want to call him the Grand Inquisitor at the moment because he literally was like, he's like, hey, watch this. And she's like, nope. And then stabs him. I'm just like, that don't make sense. That does not make sense.
Nope.
He's in Rebels. It don't make sense.
I
Why
still
do it that
say
way?
that I still say that what we saw, it was like an incompetent relative.
An incompetent.
Like, who didn't have a correctly shaped head either. Like, and so there's the real one still out there.
But yet again, how if he was an incompetent relative, how did he get in? How did he become Grand Inquisitor? It kind of makes the Empire look stupid, and the Inquisitorium even stupider, and makes Vader look dumb.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far, but when it comes to making the Empire look stupid, I mean, have you watched Rebels? The Empire doesn't exactly do itself any favors. Just saying, he did come from Rebels, and the Empire is not great in Rebels. So
that said, in Rebels, like the incompetence, like you had a couple of like in season 1, like these kind of typical bumbling, like Imperial officers. Like you had and he was like the one competent one, but it's like because of all his underlings were terrible at their jobs that.
That's the problem with Rebels villains. And actually, that could be a good Star Wars Topics episode. What is the issue with Rebels villains and why can't they win?
I did like, but I wish they'd shown more of the kind of the office decapitation that they had in Rebels, like season 1. That was kind of funny, frankly.
It really was, and I enjoyed that. I truly did, because those two characters, they really bugged me a lot.
They did. Oh, yes.
They remind me of the two guys in Pirates of the Caribbean. What were their names? I can't remember.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I know.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. That's who they remind me of, and in a way, I feel like that's who they actually were. They may have modeled those characters after them, because wasn't one of them blonde and the other one dark-headed? The dark-headed one was short and fat, and the blonde-headed one was tall and skinny.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I didn't even realize that until I mentioned it, but I feel like now they are modeled after those two. Just saying. That's a little food for thought for you guys. but some of the things I did like about this episode, because I got the main things the way that I didn't. Oh wait, no, there's one more. Reva's sort of jump scene where she jumps all over the place.
The parkour scene, yeah.
Yeah, her parkour skills are not, as strong as Vader's force powers. So I wouldn't say that she's good at that kind of thing. She's really trying to look flashy in a situation that doesn't require it. She's a Inquisitor who could literally, in canon, fly using her lightsaber. Though I'm glad they didn't do that, and I would have rather had this than that. But technically, in canon, she can fly with her lightsabers. Why in the world?
She can fly?
She flies now?
They fly now. They fly now. Okay, you asked for it.
Oh, they fly now! They fly now? They fly now!
Okay. Anyways. But seriously, in canon, they can fly thanks to Rebels.
Quick question for Commander Tano. You are going to keep that scene in your version of the sequel trilogy, right?
Honestly, I think I will, frankly, because it's the most beautiful, memeable part of the whole trilogy. It is so. Well, it's like things in the prequels, like sand or stuff, where it's so bad it's good. That was one of those things where it's so bad. I will find a way to keep it. Yes. Yeah.
Well, if it were me, this would happen. This what happened. There we go. Did it show it? It didn't show it on my screen.
It showed it on mine.
Okay,
Yeah, it
I hope
showed
it
it.
show.
Yeah,
I hope it
no,
shows up
no,
on the, no.
you showed the wrong scene.
I shared the wrong scene. What are you talking about?
Huh?
I hit it again. It works. It didn't work for me the first time.
No. You need to show your favorite scene.
Oh, this one. I love this one. That one's a good one.
Okay. Second
No,
favorite scene.
The other favorite.
Oh, that. Oh, you mean the favorite? Okay, sorry, I forgot. Don't worry though. I have a new favorite scene, and we'll get to that when we'll get to that in episode 4.
That would actually be it.
Okay. I'm gonna have so much fun with that one. Anyways, that's all the things I really disliked about the episode. The things I did like was seeing an old retired clone. That was like one of my favorite parts of the entire episode because it sort of in a way also reflects how Vietnam soldiers in America were treated after the Vietnam War. And I'm like, they're going through a very similar situation. And it's sad because the clones fought their hardest and they end up just on the streets and treated like nothing, like they don't deserve to exist. So it was really interesting to see that.
And funny enough, I thought that clone was actually going to be something more than just a 5-second. Hey, can you give me some money?
Well, honestly, I'm sort of glad that's not the case because, if he had recognized Obi-Wan, and most likely he hasn't had his inhibitor chip removed, that would cause a problem.
But hang on, wasn't it sort of canon that sort of after a while they just went back to normal? So depending on which clone batch he came from, because the thing is that the later clone batches were kind of a little bit more simple.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. That if it had been from one of the first few batches, his cognitive ability would have he would eventually, sort of overcome the programming.
Well,
that's kind of what happened with a lot of the other clones.
That is a possibility. And if you think about it, Hauser was one of them. Which he never encountered a Jedi at the time, but we've already talked about this a lot before, but we can mention it one more time that
you just want to mention it because of the hair.
We don't talk about that, okay? Hauser has wonderful hair, yes. But the principle of the inhibitor chips in their heads, they're meant to change the clone in many more ways than just tell them to do something. It's meant to change their personalities to be more, I guess, aggressive, in my opinion, from what I'd seen. And it also changed them in another way. It, dang it, I had something I was going to say about that. Okay, so it changes their personality. It makes them follow, orders directly without question, like they were supposed to technically. But the Clone Wars sort of gave them a bit more of a mind of their own. And I like, in a way, that the inhibitor chips sort of put them in a trance because they are aware of what they're doing. But they, they can't stop themselves. So it's like it's a secondary consciousness taking over in a way. So I guess it would make sense for some of the older batches to be like, oh hey, you don't control me anymore, So I'm not going to kill any more Jedi for you, and maybe that would have been the case for this old clone in episode 3, or episode 2, sorry, yeah, it's episode 2, but we won't know because they've never expanded upon that, and in a way it'd be very interesting to see that. But I'm sort of glad though they didn't, because even if I mean I don't want to see the guy get killed, you know. So, anyways, that was really
But
the
I
main
mean,
thing
you know,
that I
it
liked
would be
about
a
the episode.
sort of lovely through line, I guess you could say.
I get that, yeah.
That, you know, it kind of you know, you could have easily sort of played off the distrust a little bit, because, you know, everyone kind of got a cannon blast
Yeah,
shot in.
yeah, true enough, true enough.
So
But
there might just might be a little bit of a resentment type situation.
well, I mean, it didn't seem like it though, because he gave him money, and
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
maybe
but I mean,
he,
you know, there's a big difference between just throwing a few credits and actually helping, or, you know, actually working together.
okay, well, that is also true. And you know, since he didn't seem to recognize him, I guess that's also another thing. Which, you know,
See, the thing is
not
that
every
I think
clone.
he did. I think he did.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, he was part of the 501st Legion, and you know, Obi-Wan wasn't exactly a stranger to working with them, even though he had his
So,
212.
but, you know, but yet again, you know, uh, why would you have any love for an organization that's pretty much thrown you on the scrap heap?
True enough. True enough. Maybe he's seen a bit of himself in the clone, and that's why he gave him money. And in a way,
Well,
I can see
sort
that.
of both, you know, that sort of goes both ways.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what? That's actually pretty interesting. I like thinking about that. I didn't put that much thought into it before, but now you got me thinking more about that, and I like that. Well, anyways, before we continue on, because we've already spent like longer than we probably should have talking about episode 2 when we're supposed to be talking about episodes 3 and 4, but we'll go ahead. I think that was really like the main thing that really made me like that episode. I did like the fake Jedi guy. I was struggling to figure out at first whether he was after Obi-Wan now that he knew he was a Jedi to turn him in or to help him. It confused me when I seen him try to help him. And I think I realize now that maybe he's working with those people from the episode or the third episode that are trying to get Obi-Wan off world. And even though he's sort of a scam artist, he's still like, I guess in a way sending them to them. Sending like, and because I think the child was force sensitive, there was like some sort of lore apparently about the kid and his mother that sort of leads us to believe that he's a EU Jedi or something like that. That you know we haven't seen in the current canon, but it's in Legends canon if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look back into that again, but you know that was sort of interesting, and I get what you're saying, Chrono, about like why would a guy knowing that they're hunted pretend to be a Jedi? And I mean, I agree but disagree. Like I agree it's a bad idea, and you know there may have been a better way to go about that, but they sort of prove that. And I'm not saying I like the decision, but at the same time I do that Riva didn't kill the guy for standing in her way. I mean, she already showed how aggressive she is. Why doesn't she kill the guy when he pretends to be a Jedi right in front of her? Like that's being defiant against the Empire. And she had already cut off a woman's hand for saying, "You have no jurisdiction around here." She's like, "Well, you know what? I'm going to turn you into a Skywalker." Boom, hand gone, hand gone. So like I don't understand why she only like threw him against the wall and be like, "Hey, I'll let you live." But you know, other than that, I think that was
It's called the power of the script.
I think the words you're actually searching for is plot armor, but you know. I mean, it's probably the same thing. He may end up showing up again, which is why that they didn't kill him in the first place. I mean, I feel like he'll show up again, but I'm not. 100% certain.
There's a
Just
pop figure of him, so I believe he will be showing up again.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't give him enough screen time. Honestly, I mean, he was a funny character. I really did enjoy him. Um, I did like the scene where he's like in front of Reva. It was very courageous of a guy to pretend to be a Jedi, knowing that the Inquisitor in front of him can literally snap his neck just by blinking at him.
Oh yeah, I really like the character because he like you say, he's courageous. He's like this guy. He's obviously working with Tala and this group helping people, and of course he has to make money on the side. He's a scam artist because he needs to eat. It's not like he wants to just mess with people. But yeah, I like the character because, as you say, it's like the everyday guy. He still knows what right from wrong, and he's trying to do good
and make money on the side. I mean, they can't be perfect. The character can't be perfect.
Yeah, of course.
And I admire that.
No, that's Reva's job.
Look, she's far from perfect because she has failed to save Obi-Wan she's failed to stop Obi-Wan. But I'm not going to talk about that. That's in episode 4. But she's far from perfect. We can already see that, even though some people want to believe she is. Anyways, and I'm talking mainly about herself. Mainly, she really thinks that she's the perfect fit for the Inquisitor's position, and I completely disagree. Her arrogance already makes her not qualified because she's just going to end up messing everything up, which she, supposedly has, and at the same time, apparently she has a plan. So, which I'm talking about episode 4 before we get to it. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that yet. I'm done with episode 2's review, though. I told you what I liked and what I disliked. So we're going to go ahead and move on to episode 3. But before we do that, we have a sponsor. So I'll go ahead and switch it over to our sponsor team. Go ahead.
Thanks, Shade. Today's sponsor for the Force Collected is Mazopo Barbecue. From the rolling hills, walk down to try the best barbecue meat in the galaxy. Choose from our roaming meat stock, and when you find what you want, shoot it. Then take it to be sliced just the way you like it. After that, have your meat. After you have your meat, choose the fuel for your fire, then light it up. Now time to start roasting. You'll have meat so good that you want to pick it up and take it away. So don't wait, and run quickly to your nearest Mazopo barbecue and smell the roasting flesh.
Well, that's sponsorship number 1 of the day. When we get to episode 4, we have a second one. So prepare for another sponsor break. Anyway, now that we've finished pre-discussion of episode 2, like we should have last time, but sorry, it had to be, Anyways, I'm throwing shade around. Get it, shade, because that's my name. I know, dad joke. I'm terrible. What?
Badumts.
Oh, okay. See, you're trying to help me. Nobody else laughed though, so it doesn't. It fell flat.
I was accidentally muted, but I was laughing with you in spirit.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll believe that then. I hope I didn't make you laugh so hard that you choked on your tea again.
No tea.
See, that's when it's least fun. You have to have your tea with you.
I'm sorry. I'll go make some.
All right. Anyways, we're on to episode 3 now. Okay, so we're going to go in reverse order this time. I'm switching things up. So we're going to start off with Soraya Way. So please leave some time for us, Soraya Way. I'd like to discuss as well at some point.
You had to put me first, didn't you?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
hang on.
yeah.
Is this what we like about the episode, or not like about the episode, or just
Do both. Do both.
do both?
I'm trying to save time so we can do like both episodes in this stream, including the one that we forgot to do last time. So yeah, do both.
I have a question for everyone.
Okay, do it.
When Vader walked into town, that didn't seem like Vader.
That's not a question. That's a statement, sir.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because the thing is that whenever I've seen Vader, yes, rage-fueled monster, but it's a very focused rage. It's a very sort of, I am destroying everything in my path. Not, I'm just going to walk down the street and just casually snap a few necks.
There's a particular neck that we know about that ended up being
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite one.
I'm sure you were ecstatic when that happened.
Believe it or not, like it may sound bad, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, he did it! He actually did it!" And I'm glad they showed it. Like it's sort of I don't know what that says about me. Maybe it's because I've embraced the meme, but like I don't know. It was my favorite part. That might say something about me that might not be good. I don't know.
I liked it too. So yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I guess
But
I'm
no,
not the
but I
only
mean,
one.
is it just me, or did that seem very not like Vader, or am I like missing some extra material that shows that? Because I mean, the thing is that there's a big difference walking down a hallway, massacring some rebel soldiers, and then just casually walking in and dragging someone over the ground. Now, I completely understand and doing that to an enemy, but not a just random person.
Well,
I don't know about you guys, but it seemed extremely out of character for Vader.
Well, I'll go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll just say briefly. So I agree that it was. So for me, and that was actually interesting to read other people's reactions to that scene, but I agree that it was different. It was like a different. In other words, I hadn't seen Vader do that before, and I think your characterization is correct. That said, it's weird to say that I liked it to like something like that. But I'll say like
I kind of like it. I like it when you grab it by the neck and just snap. That's
It's so weird for me to say that.
so good.
I like kind of hearing Vader snap civilians' necks, but like I
think we found out what Sir AOA likes a lot just now. I think he just showed us what he really enjoyed.
No,
So yeah,
I was just trying to get into your head and just make it.
He was reading your thoughts.
Okay. See, the thing is, you've got that kind of voice that makes me feel like there's something deeper in there than just words, and it's making me uncomfortable. I'm just kidding.
Shade.
No, don't you? Okay, now I will get uncomfortable. Don't do this to me.
It's something called
Shut it. Shut it.
Talent.
Shut it. Shut it. Shut it. Okay. Okay. Are you calling me out? What's going on here? What's going on here? I do not consent to this, okay?
I think we've just started a late night call line and a bit of ASMR. Call now for the Fourth Collective. We want your call now.
There's an idea for your next sponsorship, by the way.
No, that's actually already being done. I don't know if you've seen it, but there was someone did a video and made a fake Jedi call line.
Nice.
Oh, dang it. I was hoping that would be our next sponsorship. Well, anyways, my opinion about the Vader walking down the streets thing, what I got out of it was Vader was just, sort of trying to figure out if Obi-Wan was actually there or not. He was sensing, and then when he realized Obi-Wan was there, he's like, okay, so I know these people were innocent, and that's perfect because they're perfect to be used as cannon fodder,
But
basically.
yet again, but
Here's
yet
what I
again,
liked
that
about-
but then again, still, I'm sort of saying this seems out of character. I mean, especially when you take into consideration his actions in the original trilogy.
I agree that it is out of character. But I think it's also for that reason that I don't like saying that I like civilian neck snapping or whatever, but what it reminded me of, and I know the counter answer to this, what it reminded me of is in the or I liked in the Clone Wars, in the kind of in the whole Return of Maul and those episodes, like initially how he initially got Obi-Wan's attention was he found some civilians and just started killing them.
Mm-hmm.
To get his attention, and then so that Vader thing, that is not a Vader thing to do. What Vader did in that episode, it is very much a Darth Maul move. But I kind of like it for that. It's an unusual one-off. Now, if Vader was constantly doing that, left and right, then I'd be like, I might take issue with that. But in this circumstance, like this kind of unusual circumstance, it's one of those things where it's like he didn't have to do that, but it's one of those things I find it's valid. Like that's a valid way he could have done that. But yeah, it was
No, but I mean the thing is that's the thing. He didn't have to do that. At no point did he have to snap the necks or just lift someone up by the neck. And
I mean, more they didn't have to with the story. Like the people writing it didn't have to create circumstances that way and have them do that. But yeah, I don't see. Yeah, I guess I might disagree on this. Like once again, it's like I'm okay with this if he were doing it constantly. And once again, maybe the next episode it's going to be all Vader snapping necks. Like that's going to be the entire episode. And if he's not looking for Obi-Wan, he's not for not any purpose. He's just going to do that. Then I'd be like, yeah, that's not that's a bit much. That's it. That would be a funny episode. Like,
just walking down the halls and I just feel like snapping some necks.
Yeah, someone's going to loop that and make a montage on YouTube.
Yep, there you go.
Darth Vader, a Star Wars story would just be all that.
Yeah, and that's it actually kind of epitomizes Obi-Wan at the moment. Oh, you're a legacy character? Prepare to get stuffed. Oh, you're an original character of this. Oh, well, we're going to just make you a god. Oh, and you know, the elephant in the room. Reva finds the hideout. And it's not like, oh, hang on, I can see some scratch marks as if someone pulled out a oh, you know, the whole sort of oh, there's a secret door here because you can see the drag marks on the floor. There's nothing like that, and somehow
Palpatine returned.
somehow Reva found the safe house.
I agree with that. I do.
And then somehow gets to the bloody end
Without meeting up with either Leia or Tala.
Yeah, somehow beats.
That was confusing. That was something I was
really-
like, that was confusing.
It legit confused me too.
You know, we might as well just stop calling her a Reva and call her Reva the Ex Machina. It, but I mean, just everything about the episode, about the only thing I liked about the episode, is, you know, Obi-Wan essentially, you know, being John Wick with the bloody blaster.
That was a good part. That really was.
Yeah.
But then again, you sort of remember that, yeah, well, you know, then there's sort of a case of, okay, so why didn't we see that in episode 2?
Well, technically, he was much closer. He was much closer to his targets. Like, how can you miss that point, though? That's the thing. Unless you're a stormtrooper, that makes sense. But
I just, yeah, you would swear that the writers are just like writing each episode in a secluded room from each other. It's sort of like, well, we didn't watch any of the original trilogy or the prequels, so why should we be bothered watching our own episodes? And yet again, you know, Leia is shown to be smarter and more capable than Obi-Wan.
I wouldn't exactly say that, but at the same time, I get that because it does feel like a Fennec type of role that she took in that episode.
Oh, it's not just that. I mean, it's the whole sort of when he accidentally drops Leia during the conversation.
I like that.
I mean, you know, the cover was pretty good, but yeah, it's just and actually, I do have to admit, there is a little bit of world building that I actually kind of liked, and that was the driver pretty much being a dick.
Yes. I was about to say, I love seeing a fully loyal Imperial citizen who's like
being
so
really friendly, and then just sort of going, yeah, hey, I just picked up these strays. You might want to look into them because
ironically, he wasn't going to leave.
Which I mean, the thing is that their story was really solid. Well, Leia's, you know, all of their story was pretty solid. So, a trusting person would have absolutely no what's the word I'm looking for?
I'm trying to figure out what you're looking for.
Would have no inkling to sort of go, yeah, hey, these guys might be sus. But it was sort of shown that he was naturally sus, even though he was happy and jolly and just it really does sort of give a feel that, oh yeah, you're living a dictatorship now.
And this guy's like fully loyal to the Empire, and he's like, I want to do my best for them. So if I see any strays, I am going to report them, especially if I don't recognize them. I mean, I would assume that since he seems to know everybody, I mean, because he knows the stormtroopers, they know him. He must travel through there a lot, and it makes sense that somebody like him would probably like want them to check them out, because he probably makes routes like that all the time. And if he goes through there enough, and you start seeing some of the same people, most likely, if you see a new person and and you find out that there's a hunt going on during your ride, you may possibly be more inclined to get them checked out. So it makes sense, and I liked it. I really liked seeing that.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, I think that's giving them far too much credit, because you had the stormtroopers pretty much riding along. So of course, if they're hunting for someone and they don't recognize the people in the back, well, you kind of then would
Well,
sort
they
of
did act a little
go,
sus of them, though. That's the thing, though. They did.
So I said it again.
I said they did act like they were a bit suspicious of Obi-Wan and Leia, though, because it seemed like those stormtroopers were listening to every single word they were saying and making sure they were consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, the thing is that how long were they riding with the stormtroopers? And the stormtroopers don't go, oh crap, you're the ones that we're looking for. It's a little bit.
Well, they're not clones, okay? Don't give them that much credit.
I think my biggest issue with that part is the fact that they don't know what he looks like, and they should, because what the hell is the HoloNet for? Riva managed to put his face everywhere in seconds, and a day after being hunted, and the people in the planet know that the Empire is hunting for one specific Jedi, and they didn't bother to put his face in the HoloNet. So how are they going to catch him if they don't know what he looks like?
I'll give them 1 ounce of credit here. Obi-Wan is older, and the picture they have is his younger self. Though he hasn't changed much, they may possibly have overlooked that. Other than that, I don't know. I can't explain it away. I did
giving them far too much credit.
Yeah,
I may have, but like I did get that from it. I'm like, wouldn't they have like been shown his identity at all? But then again, maybe
they're like, and it's sort of case of, we're hunting for someone. So, there's these 2 people here. Let's not check their IDs.
Let's not detain them.
The one moment that you'd think they would be like, hey, let's see some form of identification, please. They don't. They're like, oh, well, we just want to hear a story about why you're here,
Well, we're just interested. We like to hear what tourists think about our planet here that we're not from, but we're just stationed here, and we get to beat up on all the locals. So we're not just gonna sit here and we're just gonna sit here and not beat up on people that are saying that they're locals.
Well,
It's all about the tourism, man.
there's also like maybe they've heard about the Jedi hunt, but they haven't been informed on what he looks like or who he is yet. Though, like I think Chrono said this that they had posted his face all over the planet in seconds earlier. Not this current one, but the last planet. I forgot what the name of it was. Like for whatever reason,
Dayu.
but Dayu, yeah.
Well,
They basically
hang on,
pulled John Wick with that one. But,
I just thought of something. It might not actually be the patrolling stormtroopers. They might just be part of the tourism board, and they were actually looking to guide people, to the sites and the places and the local barbecue place.
Look, I think now you're just degrading the stormtroopers too much.
No.
Don't demean the boys in white.
The Lucasfilm Story Group has done that. I'm just noticing it.
Okay, but truthfully, like I honestly think that they're grunts. They probably know that they don't have much of a chance against a real Jedi.
No. I'm sorry. The stormtroopers are meant to be an elite force.
Okay, but guess
The
what?
grunts
Rebels
were the
showed us
Imperial Army.
The true colors of the stormtroopers. Okay, don't go there. But I'm serious though. Like I feel like they honestly either didn't recognize him, even though they looked at his face, or they didn't look at his face at all. And I'm just thinking that since they're grunts, maybe they paid attention or they didn't. They just know that there's a Jedi on the loose. Either way, I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense that they would be like, yeah, we'll catch that Jedi, and he's literally sitting right in front of them. But it's not like it was a bad scene, and I mean, it was a pretty good one in my opinion. But that part, I guess, it did make me wonder a little bit, like, how are you going to catch him if you don't know who you're looking for, apparently, because you literally didn't see him. But then again, wait, no, that in a way it does make sense. They had to use a probe to identify him on this planet. Maybe they just didn't have whatever it was that posted their faces everywhere, I mean, they had literally just posted his face all over the place on Dayu, but that don't mean that they did it up there. They may have just been relayed orders to them, like there's going to be a Jedi heading your way. We're sending probes to help, find this Jedi. So maybe they didn't know. Maybe they just didn't know what he looked like.
But yet again, the HoloNet exists for a reason.
Yeah. It's like saying you cannot post things on the internet because you're in a different city. That wouldn't make sense.
I get that. And I mean, like I said, I get that. And it, in a way, this situation really don't make that much sense. But, that doesn't stop me from trying to rationalize it in my head, which we've made arguments before. That's not always something that we should have to do. And I agree. But, if I'm able to make sense of it in my head, I'll just go with it. If it's something I can't make sense of at all, no matter what, because I feel like I'm doing the same thing that Commander Tano did with Obi-Wan and how he keeps getting beat up. I seen him get beat up in season 5 with the episode I mentioned. And because, it's clear Obi-Wan's not really the hand-to-hand combat type of guy. He's more of a swordsman than anything else. And so to me, that made sense.
Yeah.
See, that made sense.
There's just one slight problem with that.
Yes. What's the problem?
You can use sword techniques in hand-to-hand combat.
Well, yes, but he's been out of it for a while, and I know you said you can't get me to buy that, and I'm like, well, you don't have to, but this is how I think.
Yeah, no. The problem is, for AOA, you are a Mary Sue and Obi-Wan isn't. That's the thing.
That's
sorry, what was that?
You are a Mary Sue and Obi-Wan isn't. He doesn't know that.
That's true.
But I mean, the
We're
thing is
discovering
that
we have
you've
too
got
many
two
suits and we're both
problems.
selective now.
You've got two problems. What did
Mhm.
Yoda say? What was one of the last things that Yoda said to Obi-Wan before he left?
He said, "Training I have for you. You to
Exactly.
commune with your master."
Exactly.
And there's another thing. You know how he's supposed to be depressed for this past 10 years. That's
Mhm.
kind of the reason they're trying to get everyone to go with, so that he can be beaten and he cannot get things done. Okay. The problem is we saw Chrysanthemum in Boba Fett, and the battle with Chrysanthemum is 1 year before Obi-Wan happens. So no way he was just sitting there doing nothing for 10 years.
And I mean, the thing is that we're talking about 10 years here. Yeah, I can understand him being bloody mopey for about a year, but he's got 2 jobs to do.
Mhm.
Well, 3 if you include carving up the bloody whatever.
Yeah.
Training and looking after Luke. Now, the thing is that they really need to get a psychologist. They really need to hire Jordan Peterson. Because they keep on doing this sort of, oh, but he's depressed and all that type of situation. You're only that depressed if you've got no goals. You're only out for that long if you've got nothing to strive for. When it comes to Obi-Wan, he has something to do. Train and then look after Luke. So, yeah, okay, maybe for the first years he's a bit of a whinging sook. But after 10? No, I'm sorry, I'm expecting him to bloody be doing bench presses while waiting around.
Well,
I can't believe that he's super engulfed by guilt, and I can believe that he has bad dreams every night. But I cannot believe that a trained space monk would just throw his life away after he was told he needed to do something. I just can't.
Exactly.
Especially because doing that would be his redemption arc. So he's like, oh no, I'm not going to do this that could potentially fix at least a bit of what we did wrong. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just get a boring job and be a dead weight until someone comes looking for my help. That's like that's the premise they want you to buy into with this show. And it sucks because it's not possible.
And the thing is that we're expecting to believe that he's going to go out and still be this crap.
Yeah.
It just a big case of piss the hell right off. And the thing is that episode 3 really showed it. Especially that scene in the quarry.
Yeah.
And I think everyone has just, I think, half of YouTube and 3/4 of Twitter have already stated what's bloody wrong with that scene.
Well, a lot of people are treating it though like it's a fight. I think they're setting for a final confrontation.
But yet again, it's an entire situation of the Inquisitors, Vader, and the Empire are the wrong bad guys for this series. If anything, Vader should have been like a sub bad guy. Honestly, sort of a situation of.
It should be focused more on Vader than it was.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, there was I think who was it? It was Palpatine memes, I think.
Palpatine memes, I think is or Palpatine memes. It's one
No,
of the two.
no, Ruin Johnson, that Twitter account.
Oh, that. Oh yeah, that one.
There was an image that he posted on Twitter, and it was of the duel scene on the first Death Star, and you have Vader going, how did it go? When I left, you were the master and I was the student. And then
When I left you, I was but
it
the
shows-
learner. Now I am the master.
Yeah. I can't remember if that got to that point, but then Kenobi cuts in and go, excuse me, you found me on Mazapo and you burnt my arm. And it goes to back to Vader. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. Lol. So I mean that's the reason why Vader and Kenobi shouldn't have confronted each other. It maybe
I'll be
should
right
have
back,
been
guys.
a
Give me
sort
just a
of
second.
it maybe should have been sort of like those unkillable bosses in some of those zombie games where where the only choice you have is to run, and you don't stay around and fight, and it'll be sort of a big case of a bit of cat and mouse, but eventually Kenobi gets away type of situation.
Yeah, I agree.
But then again, like I said earlier, if you're a legacy character, you're getting screwed over and having your past and future storylines destroyed. So why not? Why leave Vader out? But I saw an image, and it was the scene of Leia and Obi-Wan, and Kenobi, sitting in the back of that truck, and they sort of stated, "Oh, so that's why Leia called her son Ben."
I see.
No!
No, this is not.
No!
I agree with like our sentiment here. I do not like that. It makes no sense why they called him Ben. It literally makes no sense. This doesn't.
It made no sense now. Sorry, it makes no sense then. It makes no sense now, and it actually makes Leia seem like a cold-hearted, sociopath.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot that I needed to keep it G-rated.
PG. G is a little too much.
Oh, PG.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the word that I'm using would be PG, right?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, I think it's more of a PG-13.
But isn't PG-13? There is no.
Well, there was a time when
PG.
PG-13 was PG. So yeah, so oh, it was the wasn't it like the Temple of Doom or whatever, the second Indiana Jones movie, where after that they're like, okay, we need PG-13. So
Is it because some guy got his heart ripped out on screen?
So pre-Temple of Doom PG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I can just say it.
Let's keep it at G then, if that's the case.
Ah,
I'm sorry, I'm limiting you, but I got to.
but I mean the thing is that this show is making Leia seem to be extremely cold-blooded in the original trilogy.
Yes,
Mhm.
I agree.
Just you know, if you know, if they had have dragged Bale in front of Leia and just had Vader walk up and just lop off his head, yeah, okay, Leia would be going, no, 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 and then the minute his head hits the floor, it's like, oh yeah, I don't care now. That's the sort of feeling of Leia I'm getting now because of this show. Because the thing is that and this is kind of skipping into episode 4. She knows Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Which
she does.
which makes the
Makes my
which
argument
makes
for
the
my
message from A
no
New
one
Hope
like that.
just absolute crap. It makes her reaction to Kenobi's death just absolutely cold-blooded. Now, I mean, you know, I can understand, you know, there was a video sort of pointing out that, you know, one of the generals came up and sort of said, you know, I'm sorry about Alderaan, and she just went, I'll, you know, not now, we've got a job to do. I can understand that sort of distance when you're in the middle of work mode, but her reaction to Kenobi's death in the Millennium Falcon is completely out of touch with now what we know their relation to be. And I just you can sort of see why I'm saying that Kenobi's making me an alcoholic.
Well, at least it makes sense of one thing. It literally makes sense of why she gets excited when she hears Luke call him Ben Kenobi instead of Obi-Wan, like she had mentioned Obi-Wan by name before.
Yeah, and a few people have justified that, and that's still utter crap.
Well,
That
you
is
know
still
what? We can't make everybody
I
happy.
mean,
right
the
here,
thing
can we?
is that, you know, the thing is that that reaction is countered by the fact that her message had nothing about, oh, you know, thanks for rescuing me when I was 10. Can you help me again? You know, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope. I mean, the thing is that the fact that she reacted to Ben Kenobi didn't need an explanation. And the fact that they've tried only just rips open plot holes that can't be sewn back together. Because the thing is that, you know, human hearing and human processing is a funny thing.
Real quick.
You know, she probably heard Kenobi and mirrored what Luke was saying, and you know, the misprocessing of Obi-Wan, you could definitely sort of mistake the Ben Kenobi and Obi-Wan Kenobi and get excited. But like I said, didn't need an explanation. And the fact that people are trying to make that connection just proves they don't know what they're talking about.
Real quick, I think
Yeah?
we need to finish up episode 3 and go on to episode 4 because we are running low on time.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
So-
goody. This sounds like a great idea.
Is there
And I'm
anything
going
anybody
to
wants?
enjoy it.
I am so not ready for this. Look, does anybody have anything else they want to say real quick about episode 3 that they feel like they really need to say about it?
I like when the guy fell from the tower and shot himself with the laser gate.
I did too.
And now you can choose that piece of meat and take it to be roasted.
I'm not a cannibal, so I'd rather not.
Real quick, what I can.
Hey. We're talking about a galaxy full of aliens.
Yeah, but
Pretty
stormtroopers
sure
are
one of
human.
them will find man pig really
Oh.
tasty.
True enough. Well, anyways, what was it, Chrono?
What I can say real quick about this episode that hasn't been touched on. I mean, yeah, they fought, and it was. I can concede on the point that he was toying with him. He wanted to humiliate him. He wanted to feel miserable, to feel his pain, to burn him. Okay, that's all fine. The only problem with that scene, if we are being gracious enough to not nitpick it, the one problem is he asks the troopers to go get him because he actually wants to catch him. Even if he's not going to kill him on the spot, he wants to get him. So why on earth would you stand before the flames watching that loader droid taking him away in the slowest way possible? I mean, yeah, you can tell me that he needed to escape because the show is longer and there are more things coming. Fine. But you need to understand, as a showrunner, you cannot do things this stupid because it looks stupid and it makes your cool character stupid.
I get
Hey,
that.
like I said earlier, if you're a legacy character, you're going to get screwed.
I mean, I get it. I do get that. And I did have a bit of an issue with that too. But honestly, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe I just have to watch it again. Maybe I'll figure it out. Sometimes I have to do a rewatch of things before I fully realize my feelings for it. Which is what happened with me in The Last Jedi. I loved it at first, and then multiple watches helped me realize things I didn't like about it. Anyways, that's off topic. We're going to go ahead, if nobody has anything else to say about episode 3, we're going to go ahead and briefly talk about episode 4 because we have used up a lot of time on the first episode, or not first, the second episode and the third one. So honestly, I'm going to change up the format a little bit. I'm just going to bring up talking points, and we're all just going to discuss these few talking points instead of just taking turns. So if anybody has anything to say about it, you just go ahead and say something about it. So for the fourth episode, there was a lot of stuff that happened. I want to say, in my opinion, it was a better episode than the last one. Which I got excited when I saw Vader. I loved seeing Vader. So, I could talk about that maybe in a later stream about what I liked and all that, but we don't have the time for that right now. So, so let's just go ahead and talk about Obi-Wan doing more in this episode. And, we've mentioned a few times sort of what seems to be an inconsistency. Oh, Well, yeah. There's also something I forgot before we go on. Well, let me finish what I said, then we'll go for it. There has been a bit of an inconsistency in terms of, him fighting and stuff like that. Like whether he can, it's just he's either weak or strong. He got stronger in this last episode, at least from a combat perspective. So I want you guys to sort of talk about that first. But before we get into that, we have the final sponsor of this episode of Star Wars Topics. So, sponsor team, you can take it away.
The sponsor for this half of the show is the Inquisitorium, the brand new theme park on the ocean moon of Nur. This state-of-the-art park has some of the best security. No one can infiltrate, no one can exfiltrate. While you're there, play a game of hide and seek. Visit the interrogation chamber.
I think he got cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They cut him out before he could
The
finish.
Empire probably didn't like that.
He got revoed.
Yeah. Oh no. I wonder if he'll become a Skywalker next.
He's probably in one of those like display cases now, like that was in that hallway.
Yeah. There's one particular one that I really liked.
Yeah, I can totally see you buying that black suit.
These last two episodes have been nothing but funny for me, and I love it. And I think everybody understands why. You returned. You returned. Yay!
I hit the back button a little bit too many times.
Ah, that makes sense. Well, anyways, do you want to continue your ad? You want to start it over?
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it? Oh, I
When-
thought
when
it
did-
cut you
when-
off in the middle of it. It cut you off like right after you said hide and seek.
Oh, you're kidding me!
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That was the last we heard.
Yeah.
Okay. My
You got
apologies.
You got rebooted, is what we said. Like you were
Okay.
no longer talking to us.
Should I start again?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, start again.
Okay. The sponsor for this half of the show is the Inquisitorium, the brand new theme park on the ocean moon Nur. This state-of-the-art park has some of the best security around. No one can infiltrate, no one can exfiltrate. While you're there, play a game of hide and seek. Visit the interrogation chamber. Walk through the Jedi exhibition. Get close to the aquatic life. And enjoy a spectacular light show in the massive hangar. The Inquisitorium. Come for the whining, stay for the torture.
That was good. That's actually a very good summary of what we got in this episode. Except I would call it less of a theme park. From a lore perspective.
No, theme park.
If I were to call this episode something, I would call it Fallen Order DLC.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I can sort of get behind that.
It's pretty much.
If I
go
can
ahead.
call it anything, it's making everyone seem incompetent.
Oh yeah, that too.
Well-
But hang on, I should say this now. I have never seen plot armor so strong than Reva surviving a fight with a bloody airspeeder.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was thinking the whole time those blaster cannons on ships, they are not supposed to be deflected by lightsabers, are they?
They're
I wouldn't
they're
think
not
so.
they're not blaster cannons. They're not blaster cannons. They're laser cannons.
Okay, but
See, the thing is-
still they are not supposed to be deflected by a lightsaber, right?
they're like they're like 10 times more powerful than blasters. Because
I mean,
There's
okay,
gotta be a bit of a
if you
limit.
block one of those,
Now-
you're supposed to go flying. I mean,
oh yeah, no, you're not meant to be flying. You're meant to be vaporized.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. Remember Star Wars Episode 2? The fight between Jango and Boba and Obi-Wan?
yeah,
Obi-Wan didn't deflect the Slave One's blaster bolts.
Yeah, he didn't.
Exploded. They exploded on his legs, which, somehow he didn't turn out like Anakin. But but
no.
he didn't
But I mean,
try to deflect those. He knew he could.
the one thing that the thing that I actually looked this up because I know some people would say this. Oh, but Luke deflected those those shots from the speeders.
Those things are just as powerful, really, as a blaster. That's the thing.
Well, no, see, that's the thing. They're blaster cannons. What was on the airspeeder is a laser cannon. We're talking about the difference between a vehicle mounted machine gun and a rotary cannon.
Yeah. Yeah.
One will just put a hole through your chest. The other one will vaporize your chest and probably the remaining limbs as well.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but they should be picking up pieces of Reaver all across the bloody hangar. Actually, to be fair, and I know they wouldn't do it because, we're talking about Disney here. Frankly, they should have been sweeping up the stormtroopers.
Yeah, they really should have been. Well, if you think about it, though, The Force Awakens did the same thing with the X-wings firing at the stormtroopers, at Maz Kanata's castle. Apparently, Chewie's bowcaster does about the same amount of damage as an X-wing does. So,
Well, that's not actually true, but hey,
it's not supposed to be true. But Chewie's blaster never was like that powerful where it sends people flying, and that just becomes a running joke. And that part bothered me. But if you think about it, then the same logic should apply to the sequels as well, because I think it was Poe Dameron was just shooting a bunch of people from the air on the ground, and those people just got flung back as if Chewie had shot them.
Oh, so yeah, but I mean it's they sort of treated it like a cannon shot. It shot or an artillery shell in a World War II movie. Because I mean, frankly, you always see it in World War II movies where surprisingly no one gets insta-gibbed by an artillery shell. They all just go flying and die, which is fine.
I'm more surprised that they aren't showing certain I guess types of lasers or blasters don't fire through a person's body like they did in the Clone Wars. You would see sometimes in the Clone Wars that there is a hole from the front to the back of whatever they had shot through. There's actually a scene in the movie where a super battle droid just holds him at holds a clone up at point blank, and you see the blaster shots going straight through him, and that's just a regular blaster through armor. They don't do that in anymore.
You mean the same armor that stands 4 lightsaber hits?
Yeah, exactly. The same armor.
But I mean the thing is that the minute the airspeeder decided to go after Reaver, that should have been it. That should have been the end of Reaver's story. Frankly, the entire bloody episode should have been the end of Reaver's story, but oh no, we've got plot armor. And that's not even the worst part of that scene. The thing that really bugs me is that somehow she's able to throw a battery after a bloody airspeeder with the Force.
I don't find that to be like completely off, but I don't see why that thing did so much damage to the speeder that it just crashes the speeder.
Oh, it's meant to be it was meant to be a battery.
It's meant to be a battery.
And yeah, batteries actually go boom.
Okay. Oh, that's true. That's true.
But-
That's true.
But yet again, we're already talking about what 2 football lengths of distance and an accelerating airspeeder away, and somehow she's able to throw it further than any Force user we've ever seen. I mean, if you remember and look at all the instances of telekinesis,
Mm-hmm.
it's not an easy trick. You've really got to. It's almost like you're doing a shot put type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
But oh no, she'll just flick it straight up and it will fly really quickly. I mean, I think the only time I've ever seen something thrown to telekinetically that hard was during the little duel in the Senate between Yoda and Palpatine. And
yeah.
okay, that one's a little bit more believable. Why? Because they're A, throwing at greater distances, B, throwing larger items, and C, are extremely bloody powerful Force users.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on a second. I forgot. Reva's the Mary Sue, so of course she can throw it like a tennis ball.
Yeah. And she was only outdone by another Mary Sue because the one person she can't crack is, of course, Leia.
Yeah. I think they're leading up to like she's discovering that she's Force sensitive in some way, And see, Leia herself doesn't realize she's Force sensitive. I mean, because she is a child of a Jedi.
But I mean, the thing is that she doesn't realize it until episode 6 of the movies.
No, episode 5 actually.
No, 6.
She senses Luke in episode 5.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
She starts to discover it there. And I don't know if she knew that that's what it was, but she was able to sense Luke. He was communicating with her in episode 5. So, I mean, I feel like Reva's going to discover...
but hang on. Would you really call that her Force sensitivity, or would you just call that Luke sending messages to her?
Why did he choose Leia out of all of them?
Because easy. Because Han was kind of frozen in carbonite, and who the hell is Lando Calrissian? And it might be easier. It might be easier to message someone of your own species. So it kind of left Leia with the only option.
I still think that it's got to be more of her being Force sensitive. I mean, because of course, especially if you read the Legends books, like 5 years after episode 6, Luke is training her to become a Jedi. Because even Luke says to her in episode 6, you have that power too. So he knows that she has it. And maybe that's why he chose her, is because he knows that she has it. He probably senses it.
No. Because the thing is that he didn't realize it until after they rescue Han and he's back on Dagobah.
He only realizes it then?
Yeah. Because Yoda... Oh, no, it was Obi-Wan that sort of clued him in.
No, he told him that that was his sister. And then he says, I feel like I've always known that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between knowing it subconsciously and knowing it consciously.
Well, see, that's the thing.
So,
though.
But I mean, the sort of what I'm trying to get at is that maybe maybe connecting with her mind gave him the clue.
Well, that's
And yet again, you can also sort of say that maybe the attraction he felt wasn't so much in his loins, but force.
well, I mean,
And it might just be a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B. Yeah, I know.
well,
Hormones are
anyways,
going to hormone.
Okay, so as far as this episode goes, though, like Obi-Wan does a lot more than he had been in the last few episodes. So, what do you all say about that? Like, did you enjoy seeing Obi-Wan get back to his lightsabering, or do you think that there's something wrong with it? Or go ahead, and tell me.
2 episodes too late.
I did enjoy it, but I still think it's very, very inconsistent because he was just, even in the same episode, he was trying to pick up this bolt in the ship, and he couldn't. And now he's withholding the pressure so that the window doesn't crack. I mean, it's like going from 0 to 100 just because the plot requires it, and it makes no sense.
They read the script.
It looks cool, yes, and I would love to have seen this from the beginning of the show, but since we didn't, and it makes no sense, then I gotta wonder. I gotta ask the showrunners again, which is it? Is he a good-for-nothing wash-up Jedi, or is he still cool? Because you can't have it both ways, depending on what's convenient for the story. I mean, you're either going for it or you're not. Even in Fallen Order, we get it right, because Cal Kestis is cut off from the Force, but not entirely, and he takes a journey, and you don't get all the Force abilities from the first mission. You have to go on this journey to recover everything. So it's not like, oh, you know what? There's all these people coming at me. I should probably use the Force this time. And it doesn't work like that. It's too convenient.
I think, in reference to your question about the kind of getting excited, as I was saying, like kind of before we went live, this episode was weird for me because there were plenty of moments where, like I said, I've had, there were plenty of moments where I was like, oh, that's cool, or at least I should think this is cool, or oh, I should get excited at this point, or I should feel this something at this point. And it's weird, like, because I've been somewhere where it's like I get there have been some people whose take on this series has been constantly, it's been pretty across the board negative, and that's the thing, that's permitted or whatever. My point is, I'm saying this as someone who's, as I've tweeted before, who is up until this point had largely positive to neutral experiences with the series.
Mm-hmm.
But what was really weird for me is it's like at this point with this episode, it's like, and this is probably an even worse thing for Lucasfilm. It wasn't that I was feeling like, oh, this thing that happened, it's awful, or this thing broke canon, or this thing, they did this terrible, incompetent thing. It was more, I was feeling just kind of general apathy. And maybe, and as I've said, maybe it's because I'm like dealing with stressful bar prep stuff. But that said, there have been other things that I've watched and seen where I've not felt apathy. But yeah, it's weird. And it's like, I don't know why. Because it's like, I know it's like, oh, this is something like, oh, I should feel like excitement about this, or oh, I should feel, oh, this is scary, or oh, I should feel this or that. And it's like, I don't feel anything. Like, I don't feel like, oh, this thing is awful. I just also don't feel like, oh, I'm, excited. It's like I'm kind of like, and maybe once again, it may just be I'm just in this funk, but I'm kind of like at the point where it's like I'm almost more. If I want kind of like excitement, I've got to almost kind of go to read like the whole kind of, you know, YouTube and Twitter wars over this series than the actual episode itself. And that's what's so weird. It's like I don't get why that's happening, but yeah, I you know, it's like I said, like maybe that, you know, what you remember when Lucasfilm, they were saying, they were kind of excusing like why, I think why, you know, probably like Rise of Skywalker didn't do so well, and they were saying, oh, it's Star Wars fatigue, whatever, and so they were going to cut
Solo.
back on. Oh yeah, well,
Yeah,
same,
Solo
similar issue. You know,
got negative
Star
in the
Wars
box
fatigue,
office.
and so then,
Yeah.
you know, they're gonna have to cut back on stuff, and they obviously didn't. But
No.
it's like I'm wondering, am I going through Star Wars fatigue? I don't know. It's like, yeah.
No. It's not Star Wars fatigue. It's having to justify watching crap fatigue.
But that's the thing. It's like it's a different feeling. It's not like I'm like, oh, this is crap. You know, it's not like a visceral reaction to it. It's like truly like kind of like an apathy thing. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh well,
You know, it's like I think a lot of the reactions to Kenobi have been visceral, one way or another. Like either just very, very negative, or like very much, you know, kind of getting, you know, lining up to defend every single decision made.
What?
I'm like after this one, I was like kind of feeling like there were literally some points where I was like, oh, when, you know, how many more minutes left or whatever, and that was what was so strange, because I shouldn't have felt that way. It's like it's like both with the situation and the, you know.
Hang on, I've got a question for you. Is it the sort of fatigue that you're having? Well, sorry, I'm trying to get it into a question, but is it that are you feeling fatigued in trying to come up with ways to enjoy the show? That's sort of what I'm trying to get at. It's not quite what I'm trying to ask, but it's the closest I can get to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that, and I think maybe fatigue is the wrong word. It just came to mind when I was reminded of that when I think apathy is a kind of more of a better word. It's like it's such that I think apathy is a better word than fatigue, because fatigue implies that you're striving to do something, but you just can't find the energy or will to do it. Apathy is like even less. It's like that it's literally like it's not caring. And that.
But I mean, on that sort of same theme, is it coming from the fact that, because I mean the thing is that
is it coming from? Yeah, I would
is it coming from the fact that we're trying to enjoy it, but we're not being, you know, we're giving 80%, but Lucasfilm is giving 20%, is giving us 30% instead of giving us the 80% as well.
I like how you phrase that better, as the first question you asked, like it was kind of more of like a trying to justify, but I think the trying to enjoy, I think that's more accurate. And because it's like, once again, it's like I'm one, you know, I guess I'm one of these people where I see it, and it's like it's not that I have a bunch of problems with, you know, I don't have as many issues with canon breaking as probably the average viewer of this. But
but hang on, I've just got. But the thing is that we're not watching canon breaking. We're watching story breaking. This is stuff. You know, it's like reading an entire book. It's like reading an entire book and then having someone write chapter 10.5, which makes chapter 23 just make absolutely no sense, destroys characters in chapter 23, makes them look horrible. Instead of, you know, breaking canon where, you know, you can do light speed roaming now.
There's also, I think, what makes it maybe more where I find myself more kind of apathetic, maybe losing the will to try and kind of try and enjoy.
Meeting Lucasfilm halfway.
Yeah, maybe this is more probably a quirk for me because there's plenty of people who can enjoy this. I think it's because, you know, I feel ironically for a story that's pitched as being, and once again, this is the separate question of whether, you know, if one thinks that Obi-Wan and Vader can meet each other again between prequels and originals, you know, let's lay that question aside. Let's like assume let's just accept for the sake of argument that can happen and that's valid for like a series that's pitched as being very character centric. You know, for a series that's being very pitched as, you know, Obi-Wan and Vader, whether one likes that concept to begin with or not, it's like if you're going to do that, I want more of them. I want more.
Oh no.
I guess I'm not getting more.
Yes, you are.
You had to say it. You had to say that second part.
And so it's like if you're going to do it, and then less, but that means like either, you know, fit in more episodes so you can do that fully, or like trim some of the fat from the narrative so you can, you know,
Reva.
So you can, yeah.
Trim some of the fat. Yep, that character.
And the other thing is too, and this is once again, it's just a weird quirk of mine. It's like I'm much more, as far as like Star Wars stories go, I'm much more, well, in any story, I'm much more interested in stories about individuals versus stories about groups or collections of people. So it's like when I see like, here's like say an issue that I had with The Last Jedi. And like I said, I will say former sequel apologist. My issue, a lot of people were focusing on kind of Luke and Rey stuff as part of the criticisms. My issue wasn't so much that, it was that I was very uninterested in kind of all of the Resistance First Order stuff. And I was very uninterested in the whole Rose and Finn storyline because I just didn't like the whole narrative. It was all about like kind of give yourself up for the group. You know, it's like I'm just not interested in that. I don't know why. It's just that's my pet peeve. Like stories about I'm not that interested in, you know, I'm not that interested in the Empire or the Rebellion or the Resistance or the First Order. I'm not interested in those units necessarily so much. I'm more drawn to stories about individuals. And so it's like when, you know, I don't know why, like but when like in parts of Kenobi when they're bringing in, we've got, you know, this secret little resistance, you know, the path and all this stuff, I'm like okay, I'm not interested, you know. I'm like, you know, seeing this old old news. I don't know. I wish that there was a little bit more. There's a little bit more kind of focus on, if you're going to showcase, you're bringing back, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor to do Obi-Wan and Vader. Make the focus that and go for it.
That's why I said I wished it was more about Vader rather than the Inquisitors earlier.
I agree. So, and that's the thing. That's part of maybe the root of my current apathy is I like stories that are a little more character and individual focused, and I don't feel that I'm quite getting that. But yeah, and it's also just it's also having seen, once again, it's like it's also, as I said, just having seen like, other things that are just done where I don't have to do the work of trying to enjoy it, and that it's like kind of reminding me of that, and I'm like, oh, this is tiring. Like it's like I can make a lot of these kind of maybe story inconsistencies or canon breaking issues kind of work. I can see valid interpretations of them that make them work, but it's like it's like I shouldn't have to go through that. I feel like
No one should. That's the problem.
And it's like I should, but yeah, and I think also it boils down to what I see happening as kind of, some other thing, like people may interpret what I'm going to say as kind of invalidating criticism of the series, but it's not. It's more. I think if Disney had not tried to raise bait as a marketing tactic, if Disney had,
let's be fair. Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I view them as all one, but yeah. But the point is, if the people who are whoever's making marketing decisions, if they hadn't done that, and also if there had been just some certain other elements in that series, handled a bit differently, I feel like people wouldn't get so nitpicky over what was going on. And it's like, I forget where I'm going with this, but yeah, it's like if they made this just a straightforward story, just very character focused, and had so that we could get attached to, and emotionally invested.
But my diversity and my representation.
The whole Inquisitor kind of stories, it's like, no, it's just extra fat that needs to be trimmed off, and it's just kind of bogging down. That's the thing. If some of those kind of more egregious elements of stuff in the story, and also how this whole story was marketed to people, if that had just gone away, I think then people would be a lot more forgiving, and would be at least a bit more forgiving and generous. So it's like, yeah, but yeah, I'm kind of like just apathetic. I'm like,
To be perfectly honest, I think that's been a little bit. Oh damn it! I've forgotten the word. I had it. I'm gonna say optimistic, because yet again, Vader and Kenobi should not have been meeting before A New Hope.
Well,
what I think would be.
Right.
But I do agree with what you're. Sorry, I do agree with what you're saying, that if you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah, and maybe, honestly, if if I were running Lucasfilm, if I were going to entertain the idea of pitching a series like this, well, first of all, I would just say, we're not doing, this single grand unified canon approach. We're doing kind of a modular canon where if you want to have this series be part of the canon, if you want Vader and Obi-Wan to meet in this little kind of in this lost years period of Obi-Wan's life, then here's something for you. But if you don't want that, then just don't watch it. It doesn't. We can make all other content as such that it doesn't matter whether you accept it as canon or not. It kind of is pretty independent. But yeah, if you're going to do that, do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I think is, I think it's interesting. It's like if and I think this will be just bad for Lucasfilm going forward. And I think this is why they're trying to do the race baiting and some of this other stuff with the marketing, is because apathy is worse. Ideally, if you were trying to market a show, you want like positive marketing. You want people to love it. But if you can't get everyone all on board to love it, you then at least want them to kind of dislike it enough so they're talking about it. Apathy is the last thing that you want. And so I think I think they're gonna run into more problems with that going forward.
Yep, no, I agree with that statement. But
Yeah.
I sort of have to bring this up because it's been sitting in my mind. Because there was actually one thing that I liked about episode 4. Isn't that surprising? Something that I actually liked.
Oh my!
No, I'm intrigued.
And that was, and that was how Taylor. Is it Taylor? T-A. Yeah, Taylor got in. Though I do have to kind of criticize the director and the actor, because the thing is that I liked the fact that she just pretty much went, and who's your commanding officer? Oh, it's me. Sit back down. The thing
I
is
did love that
that,
scene.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
that was good. But the thing was that she should have had that mentality right from the beginning, not halfway through. Because that made her seem sus. And it kind of made her look not as competent. As like a double agent. Because the thing is that she should have been on straight away. She should have chewed out that security guard right from the beginning. So there wasn't is she in trouble or isn't she not? Who knows? No, we knew that she wasn't going to be in trouble, because the script had to happen. But the thing is that if you're in that situation, and yes, you're the superior officer, and yes, you're the superior officer in the bloody Imperial Navy or Army or whatever, no, you chew out the security guard right from the beginning, and then the security guard goes, but it's what my job. It's like, fine, here's my identification, get on with it, rather than oh, you're not part of the sector, I've got important classified documents, get them out of my way. That mentality should have happened before giving the ID, not after. And I think it was sort of a case of, they were just trying to manufacture Some suspense. Over something that really wasn't or shouldn't have been suspenseful.
Real quick, we are going to have to end the stream like really soon. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like cut anybody off or anything like that. But does anybody have anything else to say about
No,
this?
I've been doing that. I've been doing that well enough.
I think you should go because if the stream is going to be cut and you have not spoken about this episode, maybe you should go.
It's my turn. Well, okay. So, I mean, I've said a couple things, but basically, my thoughts is the best scene is the Jedi tomb scene. For obvious reasons, for anybody who's watched it.
It's just Skywalker.
That's the Skywalker. There are too many of them. What are we going to do? And then he ends up stealing one of them and putting them in the Jedi tomb. Okay. Anyway.
Sorry. You mean the Jedi exhibition?
Oh yeah, the Jedi exhibition. Yeah. Yes. Well, anyways, I felt like it was good to see Obi-Wan get back into combat. I'm not like I'm not opposed to him being able to use the Force. I mean, it looked like he was having a real struggle. Like probably if we went back to episode 3 Obi-Wan, he probably would have just been standing there. He could probably do everything with his eyes closed, blocking every lightsaber bolt that comes his way, holding the glass back from breaking. Like he could do all that one-handed. He could probably even do it without his hands. But this Obi-Wan is struggling. So I think it's okay.
And it shouldn't have been.
Well, I mean, we all have like our different opinions on that, and which is a good thing. It'd be boring if we all said the same thing.
What?
What?
We need to all say the same thing.
I mean, I don't think we need to do that. I think we need to have a difference in opinion.
But you are wrong because titular Mary Sue just told you what to say and you rejected it, so you are clearly wrong.
Oh no, I think I'm going to die soon. I hope.
Yeah, you're going to end up in the Jedi exhibition.
I'm going to be right next to the young. At least respect me enough to put me next to the youngling. Okay.
And there'll be a plate saying disrespected the Mary Sue.
Yeah. Yes. Well, anyways, I understand the problems with this episode that you guys have mentioned. I have my own ideas about it, but where there's not as much time as I need to explain all that, I might have to do that with the next episode of Star Wars Topics. But overall,
or
in my
just
opinion,
create a separate video.
Yeah, I could probably do that, but my computer is junk, and you know how long it took me to get my computer set up so I could just get on the website? It took me like 30 minutes just to get on this website trying to get it to work. Maybe almost 40. No, it was about 40 minutes because I got on here with about 7 minutes to spare. And I started at like 6:11 p.m. Eastern, by the way, Eastern. So yeah, it took me from that moment that I turned it on at around 6:11 all the way up to about 7 minutes till the stream started for me to actually get on this website and get everything working. Yeah, my computer's junk. So I'm going to try to. I feel like I've said this before. I need to probably do a factory reset. I also got to check a couple other things. A friend of mine actually gave me an idea on how to fix my computer. So I'm going to try that too next. So if I have an issue with my computer and I'm not able to stream the next week for that reason, I'm letting you know ahead of time. But the series isn't over yet, and I'm going to for sure make sure my computer's working by the finale of this series. But yeah, I mean, as far as this episode goes, I enjoyed it. I think like Obi-Wan actually did something in this episode, and I was looking forward to this because him going around being Batman in one part of it, And then the other part just like pulling the Obi Annie and spinning his lightsaber around. It was all pretty. It was pretty interesting. So I mean, I enjoyed it. As far as issues go, I think my only issue was with how Reva has always got a backup plan. Nothing against Reva. Like, she's been a lot better, in my opinion, in these last few episodes, less annoying. Which I think she was made to be annoying in the first place. I don't like the idea of her becoming a good guy in the end, like a lot of people are alluding to. And in a way, I sort of feel like that's where they're going to go. But
this is the episode that her story should have ended.
Yeah. But I think that it's, either she's about to die or she's about to redeem herself. But she's going, and no, she's probably got to die no matter what, to be honest. And the circumstance is unknown. There's multiple possibilities. But, that we'll have to save that discussion, I guess, for later. Actually, I'm probably just going to go ahead and end this episode today because I got to get some stuff done tonight, and I forgot all about it until just now. So, fun times. I'm a busy person. But I'm sure we all are. It ain't just me.
You still manage to always be thinking of Hauser's hair and killing younglings.
I mean, I got to make time for that. So, I mean, look, if we didn't get this Kenobi show, we wouldn't have got more youngling stuff, I mean, I was sort of excited for that.
That was worth it.
It was
this
so
has all been worth it for that.
It is all worth it. Yes. Well, anyways, on that note, I'm going to end it here. So if you enjoyed this
You're all
episode,
sick.
You're all sick.
And I kind of like it.
Okay. Well, I wanted to end on a good note, but now you've ruined it. Dang it. If you enjoyed Sir AOA's sensual talk, please leave a like, leave a comment, maybe subscribe. He might sensually talk to you in the comment section. Just request Sir AOA. I'll make a certain room just for sensual talk from Sir AOA. How about that?
Call
yes.
me now.
Join the Discord. The link's in the description. We also have a Twitch and a playlist for all the Star Wars Topics episodes up to now. So this one will be in that playlist soon. So if you want more of this, I don't know why you would.
Call me now.
I don't know why you want it, but go ahead. There's a link down there for that too. So if y'all enjoyed, come back, please. We're lonely here. We need help. We need people. I'm sounding desperate when I say that. I shouldn't say it. I'm not desperate. I'm very bad at outros. I don't know if anybody's noticed. Am I the only one that notices that, or do you guys enjoy my outros?
I enjoyed the fact
Not
that they never
saying
end.
a word.
Okay, I see. All right, well, that's it. So may the force be with you, and we'll see you in the next one. Sector.